Sponsored by Morris Law Firm.
Currently, the Carolinas and most of the Southeast is located in the warm sector. So that's where most of your thunderstorm activity currently is. Actually, that's where all of your thunderstorm activity is. The warm sector is the area below the warm front, but in front of the cold front. So currently the Carolinas dealing with light rain. The thunderstorm activity is much closer to the cold front. And again, there were several severe thunderstorm warnings going on at the border of Mississippi and Alabama. Those have been set to expire, but overall very heavy rain. There is numerous counties that are under flash flood warnings, but currently the severe weather reports have actually mostly been for hail, and most of those were yesterday, not what's going on this morning. Again, there is a couple of instances where the severe thunderstorm warnings included hail, but we haven't seen very many reports for today. Most of these 39 hail reports are from yesterday, 1 tornado report as well, and 6 reports of damaging wind gusts. So for the hail reports, the largest one was actually 2 3/4 in diameter. That is the size of a baseball. Our threat for severe hail is at 5%, and severe hail is anything quarter size or larger. So that's only 5%, so a very low chance of seeing that. There's your hail risk right there, 0% for tornado and also a 5% wind risk. Our viewing area as a whole is under that level 1 threat. That's the marginal risk, but you'll notice a little bit down to our south, there's that elevated slight risk level 2. And previously that did extend up into the PD, but the update for this morning did downgrade our viewing area. But still, there's a low chance, but there is still a chance, and something we need to be aware of for today. Also, the higher threat is going to be excessive rainfall. Numerous inches are expected across the viewing area. The threat of flash flooding is going to be higher once we get to 4.5 to 6.5 inches of rain. And that is going to be hard to get to for today. Most of the area is at 2 to 3 inches, but isolated areas definitely could see higher totals than that. What we've seen so far since midnight, 1/4 inch for the Grand Strand, 1/2 inch for Georgetown, a little bit higher in Lumberton. Scranton is already at 3/4 inch. Not much going on for Florence currently, but again, the rain is going to be picking up. Current conditions on Viper 13 real-time radar showing pretty calm conditions for the Grand Strand, but an additional burst of rain is on the way. And now for the beaches, be prepared for those winds. Really calm to start at 3 to 6 miles per hour, increasing to 10, and the gusts are going to be even higher than that. Temperatures around 64, 11 a.m. and the border about 63, 64 by 2 p.m.
Here's Chris Parks for 1 News 13 this morning.
Most of our viewing area is just dealing with light rain. That's from areas west of I-95 and along the border belt. There is much more pockets of dry conditions east of I-95, and then more moderate rainfall a little bit down to our southwest for Kingstree, Sumter, Camden as well, also crossing I-26 between Columbia and Charleston. But overall, rain might not be much of a headline currently, but it's going to be very widespread, and the intensity is going to be picking up. There is a slight severe threat for today. It's a level 1 out of 5. There is no tornado outlook issued by the Storm Prediction Center. However, there is a 5% threat of wind and hail, and it is still going to be very windy for tomorrow as well. We'll first take a look at our rain, which is going to be very intense, especially during the late morning and early afternoon. Full coverage event, very widespread. It's going to be raining during the morning and evening commutes, so the timing of this is not going to be ideal, but I would be more concerned about the evening commute because by that time it's already been raining for more than 12 hours. There's likely going to be pretty intense ponding on the roadways, and the winds are also going to be very gusty at this point. By 8 o'clock, we begin to see a breakup ever so slightly, a couple of breaks, and then that cold front is going to be moving through around midnight, and then clear conditions are going to be coming out for Tuesday. It'll be a very nice day during the afternoon, apart from the windy conditions, which are still going to be sticking around. Winds calm down for Wednesday, and it is still going to be a mostly sunny day by the middle of the week. The rainfall totals are going to be very high. We could be concerned about excessive rainfall and isolated flash flooding events, especially in the Midlands where those rainfall totals are going to be higher at 4.5 to 5 inches. But for our viewing area along the Grand Strand, 1.5 to 2.5, and even a little bit higher, pushing 3 to 3.5 for Florence and Marion will be possible there. And then the backside of this is going to be the winds, which by the evening commute and a little bit after, they're really not too intense, gusting in the teens to nearly 30 miles per hour, but pushing this just a couple of hours as that cold front gets closer and then eventually moves offshore. The wind gusts in the upper 30s, even a couple of gusts over 40 miles per hour, and it's still going to be gusting in the 30s by the late morning on Tuesday. Winds finally calming down around the evening commute for tomorrow. So just know that it's going to be very rainy and windy for today. And the highs, not too important. We can't go outside and enjoy them, but they're going to be in the mid 60s.
All right, Hannah.
6 a.m. on your Wednesday morning, and it's already been raining for almost 6 hours currently in our viewing area. Haven't seen any thunderstorm activity, but that is not the case for those areas to our southwest. We have a tornado watch area that's been issued. That is that large red polygon on your screen. No active tornado warnings. There are several severe thunderstorm warnings currently going on, but checking out our radar, we do have widespread rain and a couple of areas with some moderate downpours, but overall, there's also the chance for some isolated severe weather. Overall, the threat's very low. It's level 1 out of 5. That's the marginal risk. But yesterday, we did have portions of the PD elevated to that slight risk, which we have in yellow. That is currently down to our south and does not include any of our counties. But overall, the threat is not zero. So we have to take the weather with extra caution for today. Temperatures currently 59 in Myrtle Beach, 61 for Florence and Lumberton. It is warmer almost everywhere except Georgetown. It's actually 2 degrees cooler there. But overall, you're going to need the umbrellas handy for today. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s, but showers and thunderstorms all throughout the day.
Coverage you can count on this morning starts now. Number 1, News 13 This Morning.
Welcome back. The time now is 4:37 and radar in satellite is showing a very active southeast United States. Light rain currently for the Carolinas, and honestly most of North Carolina is dry. A lot of the thunderstorm activity is still back to the southwest for central Georgia, and then zooming in a little bit to where the severe thunderstorm warnings currently are, right at the border of Mississippi and Alabama. These severe thunderstorm warnings, the storms themselves are moving 50 miles per hour. They're producing 60-mile-per-hour winds. Also quarter-size hail being reported there, and mostly a lot of these storms are producing significant hail. Haven't seen much for tornadoes, but here's the severe weather reports that we've had for the past 24 hours. 39 being hail reports, 1 tornado, and 6 damaging wind reports. But for our viewing area, we're not really concerned about severe hail, and anything that's above a quarter or a quarter and above is labeled as severe hail. So anything nickel, penny, pea-size hail, none of that is severe, but the largest hail size reported yesterday was 2 3/4. That is baseball-sized hail, and that was in Texas. For our viewing area, the level 1 out of 5 does have a 5% chance of seeing severe-sized hail, but overall that is a very low potential. It's mainly going to be the gusty winds, and the strongest winds are going to be overnight. So not a concern for the morning time, and this is a level 1 risk for our viewing area. The higher threat is actually going to be excessive rainfall. That's a slight risk, 15% chance. Flash flooding would occur at 4.5 to 6.5 inches across the viewing area, and that is a little bit higher than what we are expecting. So again, any flash flooding will be very isolated. Viper 13 real-time radar. Most of the rain is currently rather broken up. Horry County is rather dry at the moment. No thunderstorms for our viewing area, and the rain was actually much more intense just about 3 hours ago. Rainfall totals since midnight, nothing crazy so far, just over 1/10 for Florence. Lumberton has the highest, over 1/2 inch so far, and around 1/4 for the Grand Strand. But again, rain hundreds across the board, widespread all throughout the day, and eventually breaking up slightly as we head into the overnight hours. So the main headline is, of course, the rain, that slight threat for severe weather, and the winds really picking up for tonight. So checking out our futurecast now, notice the heavy rain expected all throughout the mid to late morning, and still going on through the evening commute, and finally breaking up slightly into the overnight hours. That cold front offshore by midnight.
All right, thanks.
13 Weather Alert Day.
Well, we are going to be starting this work week off on a very active start. We have a cold front that's eventually going to be moving through, but before it gets here, we're going to be dealing with a lot of heavy rain, a washout, inches of rain expected across the area, and also very gusty conditions, especially overnight. We're pretty calm currently, but looking out across the southeast, we have light rain across South Carolina, a lot of thunderstorms for central Georgia, and much closer to the area of low pressure. That's where the strongest storms are, a lot of frequent lightning and and several severe thunderstorm warnings are popping up. But again, that's much closer to the area of low pressure, which is still hours away from passing near the Carolinas. It's not going to be passing through our viewing area. But checking out radar, it was actually more full coverage a couple hours ago, but we haven't seen any thunderstorms, and all the rain is very light currently. Our severe outlook is a little bit lower than what it was yesterday. Previously, we had that slight risk extending up into the PD, but now that has been pushed back down to our south. So our risk is a level 1 out of 5. Thankfully, the tornado threat is at 0, but still a 5% hail and 5% wind risk. And I think the wind is going to be the most concerning thing, especially for overnight tonight. Those nitty-gritty details are going to be coming up, but checking out the temperatures, upper 50s to around 60 for the Grand Strand, a little bit warmer in the PD, in the lower 60s currently. And the temperatures are 3 to 5 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, except in Myrtle Beach. But all in all, just don't leave without an umbrella. You're going to have rain for your morning commute and your evening commute. And again, the wind's picking up. By 1 p.m., 64 and raining for the beach and 66 for inland.
Coverage